Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and this is the place where I talk. Today I'm going to be talking about what books I'm going to be reading in September. So there are a few that I still have out from the library that need to go back pretty much immediately. So this book needs to be back by Tuesday, so in 2 days. The City in the Middle of the Night by Charlie Jane Andish, and I am approximately halfway through. I did start this on the 3rd of September, I think, so it's still in my September TBR. This book is about two women, one of whom is caught planning a rebellion against the leaders of her city, and the other is sort of a smuggler. And they end up crossing paths due to some serious misunderstandings and PTSD. There is a lot of representation here for fear, I think is a good way to put it. I am really enjoying this. So far this is sort of a study of female friendships and female to female relationships. So it is very interesting and I am really enjoying it. It's very well written. Continuing on with the theme of black-backed library books, the next book I'm going to be reading is The Starless Sea by Morgenstern. I don't know much about this. I believe this is a book in a book. So there is a hidden library or a hidden collection of books that you get to through hidden doors, and a guy finds a book in another different library that seems to point to the existence of this bigger library, I think. I really don't know what this is about. This has been this book has been recommended by lots of booktubers, so hopefully I will enjoy it. It's quite big and it needs to go back to the library in 8 days, so I better get reading. I wasn't lying about them all being black. So this one is A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. This is about a man who is living in a hotel in Moscow and he gets locked into the hotel, I believe. He's like put under a curfew by the government, and it's about all of the people he meets in the hotel from what I remember. I actually got this book out 2 months ago, so I can no longer renew it, so I better read this one pretty fast as well. But this has rave reviews on Goodreads and Twitter, so I am looking forward to reading it. The fourth of my library books is A Boy and His Dog at the End of the World by Ca Fletcher. This is a sci-fi story about a young boy and his dog living in the post-apocalyptic world, and someone steals his dog. So we have to find the dog. This book is not as big as it looks. This looks huge, but it's actually, again, in big text. That's because the local library does prefer to buy English books, especially YA, in bigger text for visually impaired people to enjoy as well. So that does mean that sometimes I'm reading a bit bigger books and it looks like I read really fast, but it's actually that this book is, like I said, big text. Finally, to break the curse of the black hardback books, I have Naomi Novik's Spinning Silver, the retelling of the fairy tale where the girl can spin gold from hay, I think, except for in this world the daughter of a moneylender goes around reclaiming the debts that her father has been struggling to get back, and she gets a reputation for being able to spin gold or spin silver from anything, and that might have been taken a little bit too literally by the king. I have heard such good things about Naomi Novik's retellings, so I can't wait to read this, but again, the library's going to need it back soon, so, and this one is not big text. This one is just going to be a lot of reading. I will power through this very quickly because I've heard this is very addictive reading. Those are all of the library books. There are a couple more Audible and Kindle books, especially Kindle Unlimited, that I'm hoping to get into this month. So the first is the free Alexa audiobook, and this is Far from the Maddening Crowd, which is by the same author as Tess the Journals, I think, so it's probably equally depressing. This is about a young woman who inherits a farm and actually wants to run it in rural Victorian England, and the three very different men who kind of come and suit her are her suitors, and sort of like the disasters that will unfold, most probably, because there's a very specific kind of classic that this man writes. The other two that I have on Audible are Neither Here Nor There by Bill Bryson. I'm about halfway through this one. I've been listening to it while I go on walks. Bill Bryson, if you don't know, is a comedy writer who writes about travel, and this one is about his journeys through Europe. I picked this book up because I really enjoyed his history of nearly everything, but this one is incredibly sexist and racist and homophobic, so I'm not really enjoying it at all. I didn't really need to know how many topless people there are per country that he visits and whether or not he wants to squeeze their butts. So yeah, I'm not enjoying this one, but I'm going to try and push through and finish it, but I might not because it's really bad. And the other one is Cage of Souls. This one is about we don't know much about it. The blurb is rather vague, and I think that's probably a good thing. I have this on Audible, but it is available on Kindle Unlimited as well. This is the story of a man on kind of like trying to get through a very dangerous jungle in a sci-fi post-apocalyptic-esque world. That's all I know about it, and that's all I want to know about it because I really, really want to go into this blind. I believe it's been nominated for or won several awards, so, or at least an award. You can tell it's been a while since I've been on camera talking about books. But yeah, so those are the 3 audiobooks. On Kindle and Owned, we have Pretending by Holly Bourne. This is her first adult work, and this is about a woman who has been pretending everything is perfect and it all kind of comes crumbling down. It sounds like it should be a good read. I've heard lots of good things about this author. I don't think I've ever read anything by her before though, so it should be an interesting introduction. And the second one is If I Never Met You by, oh gosh, no. I think it's Mary Follet. Anyway, If I Never Met You, I again don't know the full plot of this one, but I believe it's a romance, a contemporary romance, because that is what this author usually writes. I have read one other book by her, which was about a very complicated situation where the main character made out with the groom at his own wedding and was found by the bride. And then had to come to terms with the fact that maybe her romance with the groom was not kind of like the epic love story that she thought it was, and kind of find herself again. I did really enjoy that. It was very long and had a lot of complicated subplots, but I did really enjoy it. Who's That Girl? It was called Who's That Girl? I'm also reading another one by the same author on Kindle Unlimited, and that is It's Not Me, It's You. Again, don't know much about this, don't really need to because I know I enjoy her work, but if it comes between reading this one and reading one of the library books, I'm going to choose the library books just because I already have read one of her books and I need to read these. I need to get these back. The books by this author are very long and very complicated, so I might not have time to read them both. The third Kindle Unlimited book I will be reading this month is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. This is a standalone fantasy, I believe. No, I know nothing about this. I'm reading this purely based on the fact that it's by V.E. Schwab. I did read her YA book. I don't remember what it was called, but it had a really cool cover where the words were covered up with bones. Oh, it's called Vicious. I did read Vicious. I didn't enjoy it enough to read the second book, but I did enjoy it. And so I would like to read a more adult book from this author. Finally, Fool's Errand, which is the first book in the 3rd series by Robin Hobb, is available on Kindle Unlimited, and I am so excited. I love Robin Hobb, and I've only read the first 2 seasons of her Fool world, and I just love all of the characters. I'm kind of tempted to reread the first 2 trilogies before I go forwards. I know there is a huge readathon on Booktube to read all of them in order, which I might join in with because I think they're currently on the 2nd book in the Live Ship trilogy. That trilogy I read in like 2 days the first time, and I think 2 days the second time, the reread. I own that on Kindle Unlimited, on Kindles as well, so that shouldn't be too hard to do. It's very complicated to jump in if you've been away from that world for a while, especially with the Live Ship trilogy, so it does take some getting used to. The first trilogy is a very standard fantasy, the second trilogy is where Robin Hobb just comes into her own, and so I'm excited to read some more from Robin Hobb. She is probably one of my favourite authors. She's one of the first authors I actually talked about on this channel way back when I was doing daily vlogs, so that's exciting. But yes, so these are the 5 physical and I think 8 virtual books that I will be reading this month. Let me know if you've read any of them or plan on reading any of them down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on pretty much anything at this point. I will, of got a really itchy knee. Most of the time when I record, I get a really itchy nose, but today it's an itchy knee, people. I haven't been in a reading slump lately, so hopefully one of these will be enough to bring me back, or at least the deadline will be enough to bring me back to reading, because the reading slump was pretty bad. I read a lot of very disappointing books, and I need something to bring me back to the light side again. Alright guys, I'm going to ring off now. I hope you have an amazing week and I will speak to you